The whole town mocked a black single dad's beat-up car, until it saved a bus from a deadly flood. The laughter started before anyone even saw the flood. It started every morning when an old, faded pickup truck rattled through the center of Briar Ridge, its dented doors squeaking, its chipped blue paint barely visible beneath years of hard work. Children whispered, adults smirked, and strangers shook their heads. They all believed the truck belonged in a scrapyard. None of them imagined that before the sun set, that same worn-out vehicle would become the difference between life and tragedy for dozens of people. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of hope, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with friends and family, and subscribe to the channel Heartwarming Tales for more inspiring stories. The owner of that pickup was a black single father named Tavian Mercer, a quiet mechanic who had spent the last 8 years raising his 10-year-old daughter, Brisa, after losing his wife to illness. Every dollar Tavian earned went toward food, school supplies, and keeping a small roof over their heads. Buying a newer vehicle had never been possible. Instead, he repaired the same pickup countless times, replacing worn parts with salvaged pieces and carefully maintaining an engine that most mechanics would have given up on years before. While people mocked the truck's appearance, Tavian simply smiled, knowing it had carried his daughter safely through every season of their lives. Life in Briar Ridge wasn't always easy for Tavian. Many people judged him before they ever spoke to him. Some assumed that because he drove an old truck and worked with grease-covered hands, he must have failed in life. Yet those who truly knew him understood that he quietly repaired neighbors' cars for free when families couldn't afford repairs. He shoveled elderly residents' driveways after storms and never accepted payment from widows or veterans. He believed kindness was an investment that always returned in unexpected ways, even if no one noticed at first. One warm spring afternoon, heavy clouds gathered over the nearby mountains. The weather forecast predicted rain, but nothing unusual. Tavian spent the morning replacing brakes at his modest garage while Brisa attended school across town. Around lunchtime, the rain began gently, tapping against rooftops and washing dust from the streets. Within an hour, the drizzle transformed into an intense downpour unlike anything Briar Ridge had experienced in years. Water rushed down hillsides, overflowing drainage ditches and racing toward the narrow river that cut through town. Emergency crews quickly closed several roads, but many people remained unaware of how quickly conditions were changing. Among them was a school bus carrying 26 elementary students home early because of the worsening weather. As Tavian drove toward the school to pick up Brisa, he noticed something alarming. The small bridge connecting the eastern neighborhood had become surrounded by rapidly rising floodwater. The school bus had already crossed halfway when a sudden surge swept debris against the bridge supports. Thick tree branches, broken fencing, and large rocks clogged the flow, causing water to rise even faster. Within minutes, the bus became trapped. The driver could neither move forward nor reverse safely as muddy water surrounded the tires. People gathered along both sides of the flooded road, frightened and unsure what to do. Parents cried helplessly from a distance while emergency responders struggled to reach the scene because larger rescue vehicles were delayed by washed-out roads. Every passing minute increased the danger. Tavian parked his battered pickup without hesitation. While others questioned whether the old truck could even survive the rushing water, Tavian remembered something few people knew. Years earlier, he had rebuilt its suspension, reinforced the frame, installed heavy-duty tires, and upgraded the engine for hauling equipment through muddy farmland. Beneath its worn appearance was a machine designed for strength rather than beauty. Ignoring the laughter that had followed him for years, Tavian attached thick recovery straps he always carried for roadside assistance. Several townspeople doubted his plan, warning that the truck might stall or be swept away. Tavian calmly studied the current, chose the safest angle, and slowly eased into the flood. The reinforced tires gripped the submerged pavement while muddy water surged around the doors. The engine growled steadily, refusing to quit. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the old pickup reached the stranded bus. Working together with the driver, Tavian secured the recovery straps. Inch by inch, he applied gentle power, avoiding sudden movements that could snap the cables or shift the bus sideways. The truck strained under the enormous weight, but years of careful maintenance paid off. Slowly, almost unbelievably, the bus began to move. Parents held their breath as children peered nervously through rain-covered windows. The pickup continued pulling until the bus reached solid ground. Cheers erupted across the bridge. Mothers embraced their children. Fathers wiped tears from their faces. Even the emergency responders arriving moments later paused to applaud the quiet mechanic whose determination had bought precious time. Brisa rushed into her father's arms, her eyes filled with relief and pride. She had heard classmates joke about the old truck many times, but now those same classmates stared at it with admiration. For the first time, Brisa realized that true worth was never measured by appearances. News of the rescue spread throughout Briar Ridge by evening. People who had laughed at Tavian now visited his garage, not simply to thank him but to apologize. Some admitted they had judged him unfairly because they focused only on what they could see. Tavian accepted every apology with grace. He told them that carrying resentment would only make tomorrow heavier than yesterday. The town council organized a community gathering the following weekend to honor everyone involved in the rescue. When Tavian was invited to speak, he stood beside his weathered pickup and looked across the crowd. Instead of talking about bravery, he spoke about responsibility. He explained that every scratch on his truck represented years of providing for his daughter, helping neighbors, and refusing to give up when life became difficult. He reminded everyone that people often overlook quiet acts of perseverance because they are too busy chasing polished appearances. Inspired by his words, local volunteers launched a neighborhood assistance program that repaired vehicles for struggling families, delivered groceries to elderly residents, and prepared emergency response teams before severe weather arrived. Tavian volunteered his garage as the program's headquarters, proving once again that the greatest leaders often serve without seeking recognition. Months later, the faded pickup remained parked outside the garage, looking much the same as before. Its paint was still chipped. Its bumper was still dented. But whenever people passed by, they no longer laughed. Parents pointed toward it while telling their children the story of the day courage hid beneath rust and kindness outweighed pride. The truck had become a symbol of resilience, reminding the town that extraordinary strength often lives inside ordinary things. Special request: if this story touched your heart, comment below with "Character outshines appearance." If this story inspired you or reminded you of the power of kindness, please like, share, and subscribe to Heartwarming Tales so more people can discover stories that bring hope and encouragement. The people of Briar Ridge never forgot the lesson that Storm taught them. A person's value cannot be measured by the shine of a vehicle, the size of a paycheck, or the opinions of a crowd. True greatness is revealed through compassion, perseverance, and the willingness to help others when every second matters. Sometimes the world laughs at what it doesn't understand, but kindness has a remarkable way of proving its worth when it is needed most. May we all remember to look beyond appearances, offer grace before judgment, and believe that even the most overlooked person can become someone's greatest hope.